Welcome to the Hustle and Motivate podcast. It's half of your host, Will Hawkins. Thank y'all for checking out today's episode. We're going to get right into it. We're respecting the hustle and we're motivating others in the process. Like, share, and subscribe, and we'll see y'all on the next one.
Welcome to the Hustle and Motivate podcast. I am one of your hosts, Marcus.
Will.
And we have a special guest with us today, Yolanda from By Love Events. She asked for this. I don't know how much wine.
And now she's here being nervous.
I don't remember asking for it, but I do believe it.
I don't know how much wine she had when we talked about this, but she was definitely asking to be here. And now she's in here nervous. But she's the first episode of season 3. With our new backdrop, Will, let them know.
Yeah. So like I said on the last episode, I know y'all got tired of looking at my beautiful chocolate face against the other backdrop, but here we are now. New backdrop, new season. We're going to continue building this set. Y'all are going to continue tuning in. Otherwise, I'm going to come find you. And we're going to keep giving you this information. Let's go.
In 20, when did I meet you? 2011, 2012?
Yes.
2015. What did you tell me about rock stars? Rock stars don't what?
I can't remember, bro. I can't
Will used
remember.
to say rock stars don't chase, they choose.
Oh, yeah. Rock stars don't chase, they choose.
Yes, sir. No idea what he was talking about.
Yes, sir. Now you understand.
Didn't he? No, I don't. I still don't.
I was about to say, I'm not
you
be honest. I need some I'm shaking my head.
I can explain it.
Okay.
Okay, go ahead and explain that to me.
So when you're a rock star, you attract things. Everything comes to you. You don't go out choosing stuff.
True.
It comes to you.
Then he evolved to, if you're not a fan of Will, you're not a fan of yourself.
That was from Kanye.
He got it from Kanye.
Got it from
He
Kanye.
adapted that to himself.
Okay.
Now we're at my beautiful chocolate face.
Okay.
So-
come on, confidence. Come on.
We've gone.
Actually, I support this.
I don't. We have gone through a metamorphosis of Will's cockiness over the years. So now 2024 is about my beautiful chocolate face.
You have to be cocky in your industry, though. You got to be confident.
If I don't believe in me, nobody would believe
Okay,
in
you
me.
got to represent. So,
Okay, so both of you subscribe from the Kanye school.
We look what I tell you a long time ago. We do not dust off bums, we shine
I
stars.
forgot about that one. I forgot.
and I'm not going to put
Dust
myself
off
in the
bums.
Kanye school.
We shine stars.
Stars for those. So those are 4 things that I've given you that Will has stood on in the 12 years I've known him. That's what he stood on. But today is about
Miss Yolanda.
from
Yes.
My Love. Introduce yourself to the people before we get going.
Okay.
She
I
dropped her
almost dropped my phone.
By the way. By the
So-
way, she says she needs to hold her phone so she doesn't feel nervous. So.
Yes, I want to hold my phone so I don't feel nervous. But my name is Yolanda. I am the founder and principal planner of By Love Events and Design. We're based in Hampton Roads, and we serve Richmond, Charlottesville, and Hampton Roads predominantly, but we prioritize intentional planning and thoughtful design and creating memorable experiences.
So tell us a little bit of the origin, what got you into wedding. Well, I'm not going to say wedding, planning, because you do events too.
Yeah,
What got you into planning?
it's very cliche.
Did your own wedding?
I'll be damned. Never fails. It never fails. Why is it?
Why is majority of the planners that I've ever met?
Because there's no school. I mean,
And
well,
I've
there's
never
a
asked
school
why.
for
There's a school
planners.
for it?
You can be certified. You can be licensed.
Ah.
Yeah, but it's like, does that mean that you're better?
Yeah.
Does
No,
it?
that's
Does it? I think it's an experience-based job, and I feel like in order to celebrate and teach people and tell people how to celebrate, you have to know how to celebrate. That's kind of how I justify.
Say that one more time.
In order to help people celebrate, you have to know how to celebrate.
Okay, so you're saying that by you going through your own experience of planning a wedding,
In general, it doesn't
general.
have to be just weddings, because there's wedding planners that
so
have
you're a
never
rock
been
star
married.
too.
I'm a rock star, but I'm
Okay.
a child of God. See, I'm putting it. There we
So
go.
tell me how your wedding was that made you say, This is because I mean, I know every bride say the wedding's not stressful. I had a great
No,
experience
it's ghetto.
but that's what I felt
Yeah.
like.
No,
So,
yeah.
what was it about your wedding that you said, I want to join this crazy life and do this with every client and feel the same way I felt when I got married, which is stressful every wedding I do, every event I do.
So for me, when I got married in 2017, I had a hard time finding people that understood me. And I had a hard time finding vendors that I felt could execute what I wanted. Because at the time, being a woman of color, being a minority in a area that doesn't have a lot of minority vendors, again, at that time, it was just difficult for me to get in contact with the people that I felt like really, really would have served me correctly.
You get married at?
In Richmond?
Oh, okay. I was
In
gonna say,
2017,
I'm telling you,
though.
this at a shot in the face 'cause in 2017, we were heavy in this, Will.
Y'all were, see, this is the thing, but listen.
I don't recall my email, and I keep all my Google.
But see, listen. For a client perspective, the person that is searching, there's a lot of things that we naturally go to. They naturally go to Wedding Wire. They naturally go to The Knot. They naturally go to some of those overly saturated wedding markets.
I'll give you that because Google, it was tough getting clients from.
Yeah,
Google
like
at
it's
that point in
saturated.
time.
It's so much.
You
and
had to go-
You have to put money into it to
for
really.
you, because it wasn't as many. For me,
It was a lot of.
It wasn't that many of me.
Right,
like it is
exactly.
now.
Yeah,
It's a lot of us now.
But
so
Googling for
Right.
you that was your key thing back then, right?
I was one.
But
SEO crazy.
I was
okay?
crazy.
Yeah.
SEO crazy.
yeah.
Not no more. I'm about 8, 9 now.
But now it's preferred venues and
Yeah, it's
social
That's still
media.
a thing.
Yeah, man.
it
For
is.
venues.
It is. And vendor list.
I need to get.
What is you doing?
I know. I need. I know.
Okay, we're gonna talk about that. But yeah, I could not find what I was looking for
Gotcha.
As a bride.
as a bride.
Okay.
And did I know what I was looking for entirely? Not necessarily, but I also knew that it wasn't around me, and it wasn't easily accessible.
It definitely wasn't a lot of minorities vendors back then in 27. In that short period of time, 6 years, 7 years,
Yeah.
there wasn't a lot of.
There wasn't. And when I started my business, I wasn't like the first Black minority planner by far, but I was definitely,
I kicked
stood
in
out.
doors.
I stood out.
I kicked in doors.
Okay.
Okay, let's go back to you.
I kicked in
Kanye.
doors.
So there wasn't a lot. So did you take it as, you know what? Because you didn't get the experience that you wanted truly. You wanted to make sure, okay, you wanted to basically lead the charge of maybe bridging the gap,
Kinda.
breaking the mold, and being that person that said, I'm going to go find those vendors that I was looking for and make sure that my brides have that experience.
It was more of a personality thing for me.
Okay.
Because I feel as though I had a great wedding. Like, I loved my wedding. I would do different things differently now, being where I am. However, I did have a great experience. It was memorable. Like, all of our guests still talk about it great. But what I felt was missing was a visual perspective.
Okay.
Because planning an event is cool. Like, I'm gonna be honest, anybody could plan a wedding. It's go down a list. Check. Planned. But it takes a certain type of person to give a different like emotion and feeling into an event.
For sure.
And I feel like that was missing. So what I wanted to do was be able
You didn't have a planner?
I didn't have a planner. I interviewed with planners though.
Okay.
I interviewed with planners, and it even came to a point where I was like, dang, I should have hired her. But I also was like, I don't really think she gets me.
Gotcha.
And I can't give my money to somebody if I
don't get you.
They get me.
Gotcha.
Because I'm always going to be unsure. And I tell my clients that now, like, you have to be confident. You have to trust the vendors that you hire, especially as a planner, because I'm directing your whole vision. Like, I don't want to ever, even now professionally, take my wants and put it into somebody's event. I want to be able to relate to them to the point where I'm able to convey your experience. So I felt like it was too much in the sense of the person that I interviewed with specifically, she was a little bougier than me. And I wanted it to be bougie, but I also, my family is from Chester, Pennsylvania. And if anybody knows,
They get it in?
They loud.
Okay.
Okay.
You can only go so you only can be so
Like,
upscale before.
There's limits, and not even to isolate them,
For the
because I
family
love
turn
y'all.
up.
But it's there's levels to it, and I feel like I wanted to be able to have this refined and elegant experience, but I also am like, I'm not really worried about having a 5-piece place setting. I'm not really worried about the etiquette, the salad fork and the dinner fork situation, because my family is not really worried about that. And I feel like as planners, sometimes we get caught up in what we want the experience to be and how bougie we want it to be, or how elegant or what our definition of all of that is. And I didn't feel like they were connecting with what I was trying to convey. So I had to decide to go a different way. And I have no regrets, obviously, because it got me to where I am. But my interest in planning came more from the visual and the decor side. I feel like I became a planner because at the time, there wasn't an avenue for a designer as much as it is right now. Because it's like, well, you need a wedding planner or you need a decorator. Like, decorator, no shade, but I didn't want to be called a decorator. So,
I never thought about that.
Yeah,
That's
I
true.
didn't want to be called a decorator.
Because it was either one or the other. At
Exactly,
that point in time,
exactly.
it was,
They didn't want nobody who could do both.
Right. It's like, and now still, like, there's definitely levels. Not everybody can do both. Some people who offer both shouldn't. Or we have people who really should just focus on one avenue. But I really wanted to connect the two because I feel like, again, I tell my team this, like, in order to plan a wedding and design a wedding, you have to understand a wedding. You have to understand the moments that you're highlighting and how to get that experience across, because it's really deeper than that. Like, I really try and make sure, like, we go over everything when it comes to my clients, every single minute detail, even in relation to, like, your flowers, going through, do you like this flower, do you like that flower, what don't you like about it? Like, really trying to make sure that we personalize it so that nobody else can get that experience, because they're not going to answer the questions the same.
Was planning okay? Well, what was your dream job before planning?
I want to be a pharmacist.
That fits. That fits. Detail oriented, because you got to be precise. You can't play around with somebody.
Yes. But I did pharmacy by trade. So I was certified as a pharmacy technician when I was in the 11th grade. And I worked as a pharmacy tech up until I graduated from college. So, when I was in 11th grade, I was making $18.
That's what I'm saying. You was rolling. How'd you get that at 11th grade?
Come on, okay?
How'd you get that?
I went to a technical school, and I took pharmacy technician, and we went from there.
I would have never went back to school.
So, I didn't either. I
would have never went back to school.
$18 an
my
hour.
mom, I'm moving out.
I'm moving out of here. I'm done. It ain't nothing you can tell me no more. I make more
Nah, it
money than you.
was. In the 11th grade, I definitely...
$18 an hour.
At 18? How old were you?
In the 11th grade,
that's what I'm
17. I was 17.
We were the same
Oh,
age.
now? I'm 33. I'm
saying,
33.
Then y'all around the same
Yeah,
age.
we same age. How old are you,
18
Marcus?
I'm turning 37 in 2 weeks.
Okay, I was about to say. I thought you were about to say something else.
Nah, you thought I was saying I was younger?
I don't
Older.
know.
I'm not 40.
I have no clue how old you are.
I'll play with me. Play with me.
I won't say that. I won't
Could you-
You're closer to it than you are from it.
Excuse me. You didn't feel that way when you crossed 30, mister.
You want
Bones hurt now.
2 gray hairs next year.
Could you imagine? Back then when $12 was rolling, $11 back in the day.
It was a lot of money.
17?
Making $18 an hour,
17?
I would have set the world on
It was
fire.
crazy.
I'm like you. I'd have dropped out my senior
It was
year.
a crazy time. But
It wasn't for you?
it wasn't... It was for me until it wasn't.
Do you think because you accomplished that so young, you kind of was like, all right, I'm looking for something new? Basically, around your 20s, you were like, all right, I'm kind of burned out from this. I need something else.
I think, well, see, I started working in retail pharmacy. And I honestly feel like retail pharmacy is probably what killed the desire. Anybody who has ever worked in retail in general, it doesn't change even when you go to pharmacy. It
Y'all
becomes
see it, but it's in the
a little
back.
bit more.
Well,
Yeah, it's like a dungeon though.
Okay.
Like, it makes it worse. It's almost like you feel like you
in prison or something.
Yeah, like
and
you
it's,
just-
it's all white back there.
Yeah, it's cold.
Even that little bit of spot.
Yeah.
And you're doing the same thing
Over and
over
over.
and over and over again.
Especially if you don't, and it's like 4 y'all. If you don't like none of them,
That's a tough,
longer, bro.
tough spot.
But when I got to college, my best friend, who is my best friend now, actually had just graduated from pharmacy school. She graduated from Hampton. and she ended up becoming our pharmacy manager. And I will say she really kind of spoke to the non-technical side and really like allowed me to be myself in a professional way.
So you
but
went to
also
Hampton?
like the creativity. I didn't go to Hampton. I went to ODU.
Okay.
But she graduated from Hampton. Stop.
Why you shake your head?
Right, like, don't do that.
ODU.
What's wrong with ODU?
A lot. It's not.
Let's start.
It's not HBCU glory.
I was just gonna say.
As I wear a Colorado hoodie.
I was just gonna say all the baddies go to Hampton. I'm telling you. I'm not lying.
Can we stay focused in season 3?
But when she said, I try. Look, man, somebody's got to get us off track sometimes, man. We got to have a little
This
bit
is
of
really,
entertainment.
Eric.
It's the pockets. We got
This
to
is
fill
why
in the
Eric gonna pull
pockets.
you to the side and talk to you again. Anyway, so you went to ODU, you went for pharmacy. So when did you hit your wall and say, all right, right around time you met your husband, or?
No, so I actually met my husband my freshman year. So I met my husband in 2008.
Okay.
We've been together pretty much all of our adulthood.
Okay.
It was when I took my pharmacy exam for the first time, like the entrance exam. So I go take entrance exam, and I got a decent score. However, I was having issues figuring out how and if I wanted to retake the exam to get a better score. And I say that because the score that I got was okay, but it also wasn't anything that I felt confident in when it came to applying.
Gotcha.
So I knew I didn't want to go to a school in the mountains. I didn't want to go to a school that just accepted people, rigorously. And I wasn't going to be able to get in the school that I wanted to. And it caused me, I would say, confidence issues. I started to feel like, oh, no. But not because I couldn't. It's just literally because it was the phase of life that I was going through. And I have later realized that I was not supposed to go to pharmacy school. Like, I really wasn't. It didn't make sense. Like, the fact that it didn't happen because it wasn't supposed to happen.
Gotcha.
And that's just it. Because I was very experienced. Like, I knew pharmacy. Like, even now, I still know a lot. But because I was in it so early, I was able to learn way more than people are when they just get into it after college. Because the average pharmacist starts pharmacy school after college.
Same with you.
So,
Photography at 20.
Yeah, pretty much.
You're able to learn way more than most people who come in around 26, 27.
Because I had nothing else to do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So when did you? Okay, you got married. We're gonna fast forward.
I got one question.
Go ahead.
Pharmacy tech to business owner. Stable income to unstable income.
Ghetto.
What was the?
It was a confidence push.
Okay.
I feel like, I don't know who I'm talking to over there, but so speaking of pharmacy, I got really far in pharmacy. I ended up becoming an instructor. So I started teaching people to become licensed to become a pharmacy technician.
Oh, you were really in it.
Yes. Like Fortis, I was a teacher at Fortis for a while.
As long as you were on it.
I really could have. But I became an instructor, and I ended up getting like a top paying job for a pharmacy technician in the hospital doing med reconciliation. Great stuff. However, that was the part where I realized, whoa, this is not for me, because if this is the highest that I can get in this particular position, obviously I know I don't want to be a pharmacy technician for the rest of my life. But also at that time, I was dealing with the pivotal role of deciding whether or not I was going to go to pharmacy school. And I'm really starting to feel reluctant on that. And then I've gotten married now. Somebody has asked me to help them plan their wedding, and my boss is pissing me off. And it was like a perfect
storm.
Perfect storm. Okay, it was a perfect storm. I felt unappreciated. I was excelling. I knew that I was great. However, they were not appreciating me, and I was like, you know what?
I don't
need this.
Yep, happened to me too. It was
boom, quit.
I had that boss who was pushing me, my buttons, and I said, I got something else going on.
I can go make this work.
I don't need this.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Here's my notice.
Right.
If I don't make it, I'll do something else.
Yeah.
You're forcing me to give this a try.
Yeah.
Will got fired, so he had to. So
Hey, it happens to
he's-
people.
he's
His
not
leg. But
like
why you say it like? Why he say it like
he's not
that?
like us.
I'm gonna tell you.
He's not.
I'm gonna tell you.
He's not like us.
I had jobs going on at the time, and I was like, I don't need y'all no more.
Okay.
Come to
beat
find
him,
out, they beat me to it.
Oh, okay. All right. Hey.
That's why he was getting ready to quit.
I was getting ready to. I was gonna go part time. I said I
Okay.
don't need y'all no more, but they called me in the office.
Will,
Like,
you
yeah.
had quit years.
They said
Yeah,
it
when
was.
you first got
It was your
I
time.
quit when I first got
They
there.
knew it was your time.
My
and
mom
it
got
was
me
your
that job,
time.
and I was like, this is not going to work for me.
Yeah.
I just had that.
Okay.
That's okay.
Anyway,
Okay.
What
you had a transition. Go.
What does by love mean? Not even that. What was the origin of it? When did you come? Because I think we all, because same thing with True Collective, I feel like we all hit that moment where we know what we want to do, but what am I gonna call it? I think you all go through the list of what you throw darts at the wall, you write it down, you see it. Okay, if I say it, you say it off your tongue a couple of times, you be like, that ain't flowing. Go back to the drawing board.
Yep.
Going back to the drawing board. So when did you come to By Love?
I have to thank my girls group chat.
Okay.
My
It's a
friends.
dangerous place.
Can't we stay
It
on-
is a dangerous place, okay? You want to stay out the group chat. But they helped me because I don't remember what my initial thought for my name was, but I remember them telling me no because it sounded like a sex toy. That happened.
What was it?
I
She
don't
just said she
remember.
remember. She led with that, so you know.
What? No, I know. I figured
I
if you
literally
talked
don't
about
remember.
it, and then I asked the question, it would trigger something.
I don't remember. Like, and it, because it almost like, well, by love. I don't, like, I honestly do not remember. And I'm pretty sure one of them screenshot it. I'm gonna have to ask them. But that's literally, I went through a sequence of names and I knew I wanted to do something around the word love. Again, it was cliche. When I established it, it was very cliche. It's literally me and my husband's initials. Literally, BY.
Hey,
What? B.Y.
His name is Brian. My name is Yolanda.
Brian.
hey.
But it was never Brian and Yolanda Love Event.
Of course not, but this by love, right?
Yeah, it was by love. And eventually, like after I sat with that, I said, well, you know what? We're inspired by love. You know, I'm inspired to start this business from the love that I have with my husband. And, you know, I kind of led with that. But over time, it definitely grew because of the impact that my brand has had on the people that it's impacted specifically and what that means. Like, I feel like, honestly, it's my purpose. And God put me in this position to help a specific type of individual. I've run into them, and we've been able to birth beautiful events from that.
Yeah, I would think calling it By Love is almost like, I mean, everybody can, we talked about this off camera, but everybody can say, oh, I love him, so that's why I want to get married. Do you really?
Yeah.
Do you really?
Right.
But, you know, it speaks to, I think, a certain type of client. If the name love resonates with, that word love resonates, then you already know you got them in the door. But that was, okay, BY. Okay, I was wondering where the by came from, but.
It was literally, it was that simple. It was no, like, it was that simple, but also, again, I feel like it was supposed to be that because I couldn't imagine BLE, as I call it now, being called anything else. Like, I love it just fits.
So you decided once again to add the design under your name. So I know design was a big deal, but did you have a vision of saying, you know what, I can plan your wedding, but in reality, I want to give you the dream wedding you want. So why did you decide to talk? Because designer, but in my mind, both of them are stressful in their own right. So you want to put them together. So you just want to stress
It's
it.
more stressful than the plan.
It's exciting.
No, it's not.
It is.
You're dealing with. I'm going to speak because I can speak from my circle of how my wife, and she's going to see this, ran me up a wall behind our design because she was one of those brides who it took her a while to figure out what she maybe had wanted, and then once she figured out what she wanted, that's what she wanted. She won't really trying to take no. She won't compromising on it, and she had to compromise, and she still ain't happy about that.
The budget don't be budgeting. Okay.
Yeah, so What was it about you that wanted to add the stress of designing somebody's? That is so much of a big responsibility.
It's fun though.
Because you basically set yourself to get blamed for everything.
When you say it like that,
Like it's like, oh well, this didn't start on time. You know, but planners is like y'all get blamed for everything. The makeup artist can be late, and it's your fault because they can blame it on timeline. But the design part is like, oh,
I think that's more stressful.
it is. Because you're dealing with decisions. Again, planning is very 1-2 step. So if you having a wedding, you either doing this or you're not. But we can go down the list. Design is personal. It's very personal. It's very individualized. But we also have an oversaturation of inspiration from social media, Pinterest, and I feel like there's a new Pinterest out there somewhere.
they got new pictures up.
Apparently, I don't know what it's called. My sister told me about it. But just like I wanted to do design in the beginning. Remember, I wanted to do design. It's just that there wasn't a lane for it. So I had to do planning. And being able to tie the two into each other was really saying, like, we can make your event unlike anybody else's. Like, yeah, you all do a first dance. We all do a bouquet toss. We all do a garter toss. But how can we make this unlike that person's wedding? And the way that I think, or the way that I thought, we go into that is by leading with your design and making sure that your wedding looks like nobody else's.
I can say that too, because when we did Chris and Desmond's wedding, I was like, the minute little bitty details you were walking around there with, I'm like, where's she at? Oh, she in there designing. You got to figure this out. You want to make sure this is right. The colors of the lights, the wash, the introductions, transition into this wash. It all made sense but each wash, even the little things of the dance floor wash, literally heightened the design part that you did. That first dance was like a amber. And but and the flowers were amber, but in their skin tones, it just lifted up like all the colors in the room. And then you go down to the deep purple and blue you put on the actual party part, and the deep blue on Desmond and his mom's name. It was just like, wow. But it wasn't, but then you were able to, the full room was amber when they walked in, but when the dances, it was almost like the lights went down dimmer. And
don't be telling people secrets.
I'm just saying, it was fly. But you notice that type of stuff, and you're like,
yes,
okay, she doing the thing. So let's get into the real meat of this. What are some misconceptions about wedding planning and design that you wish people would stop?
The cost is the biggest thing. I feel like that's a misconception with everything, though. I feel like the average wedding budget is trash.
What is the average wedding cost in this area now? It's gone up.
Yeah, it's gone up. I don't like the word. I don't like the term because I feel like
budget.
Well, no, just average. Because again, everybody is individual. I can't tell you what your average wedding is going to be like because I don't know you.
True.
I don't know your personality. I don't know what your likes are. But in terms of society and thinking about the cost that everybody is okay with spending, that's typically $35,000 for our area.
There's no way.
That's the minimum. No way.
Excuse me.
That's the
25
minimum.
People.
That's the minimum.
That's 25 people in the venue because there's no way.
Well, you'll be surprised because we have a lot of people in society that want to plan weddings for 100+ people with $20K. And but this is the thing.
Yourself up for a heart attack.
No, but this is the thing. I didn't say that. Don't call us. However, you can call us, but you have to have realistic expectations because you can have a $20,000 wedding, but what does that look like to you?
Correct.
Because you can have a beautiful $20,000 wedding for 20 guests, or you can have a $20,000 wedding for 120.
No, I need 150.
Okay. That's your choice. Like,
my mom got people.
That's your
Dad
choice.
got people.
That's
my
your
cousins
choice.
is a big deal to me. My family huge.
That's fine.
His family huge. We want. We need 150 at Chrysler on a Saturday in May.
What's your budget?
25.
Not happening. I mean, it could happen, but you only got catering and your venue. Because Chrysler is giving you $6K energy, just to say minimum, and then catering. The food is like
catering is. So what do you think people, from a planner's perspective, what do you think people underestimate that they're like, okay, I got a small amount maybe I don't want to spend this money, or they're shocked by it? It seems like catering is the one thing that catch everybody off guard.
I feel like it's from the very beginning, venue costs. Like, it's honestly from the beginning.
Okay.
Because if people realize the space that they want to get married in was $6,000 to $12,000, depending on that space, if not more, then they will understand why their budget can't be $20,000.
Gotcha.
There's no way that you spent 75% of your budget before you've even invited anybody, just by getting the space.
And sometimes you're being hired after they've already booked the venue.
Unfortunately, yeah.
And then they're looking at you like, well, we don't have, well, you spend
Unfortunately.
all this money on your venue.
Yeah.
And you can't, when you spend that much money on venues, you like type venues like that, you can't go in there and then just be basic.
You can. People do it all the time. It's whatever you want. That's your perspective.
White tablecloth. One
Don't talk about these people weddings.
white tablecloth.
So what Marcus is saying is that y'all need to not have basic linens at your wedding. White tablecloths are no longer in, and he's tired of shooting them. That's what he's saying.
The white tablecloth, and the problem is that you get the white tablecloth, you get the white napkin, and you get that little bit of greenery just sitting in the middle with this big old 10-person table, and you're looking like, I want details of what?
Yeah. Ooh.
Of what?
Ooh. Tell it. Talk about it.
The pillars in the room.
Talk about it, Marcus.
All I can do is hit you with a wide shot. I can't even go up close. But see that one flower, them little bitty stones in the middle. Anyway, this is not about me. So,
But you know, it's a good point, because that's the problem. The difference between that budget or that wedding and the wedding that I do doesn't even necessarily come into the budget. It comes into whether or not that they hired me or someone in my
somebody to
position.
stop them from that.
Yeah.
Versus, we'll just take whatever the venue give us.
Because people automatically, again, everything sounds like money. So when they hear the venue has linens, oh my gosh, but those linens are wrinkled. And they don't touch the floor. But like really wrinkled. Like, and they were white when they got them, but now they're yellow.
So, okay, give me another misconception besides budget. Budget's easy.
Yeah, budget is
Give me
easy.
something. I need some meat.
Pause.
I ain't even gonna get into that.
All right, so let me backtrack. Give me something.
No, don't cut that out.
cut this
Leave
out.
it. Leave
No,
it
you
in
can't
there.
cut that out.
Leave it in there.
First of all, I edit. You don't.
Okay.
If he would take over editing, he would have control. Mr. Will don't want to edit nothing. He just want to show up, sit down, make his little jokes, and leave.
He's giving Dame Dash.
That's fine. I get it.
Hustle and Motivate is Marcus podcast.
All right now,
I'm just a
Will's just here. I am.
with the black wall.
With the black walls. He could have. I'm honestly shocked he got that done on time. I expect to be
I'm a
walking in
busy
here and
guy.
that paint still be wet.
I'm a busy guy.
Wait, is it wet for? Okay.
Anyway, so give me another misconception. We're gonna go back to being focused.
Oh my gosh, it's so hard because I honestly feel like I really feel like weddings are so individual. Like, and the misconception is just that people don't know what they're doing because they've never done it, or they're listening to the opinions of someone else. But you really have to focus on yourself and what you want.
Okay, so what makes a good planner?
Somebody who listens first,
To who?
their client and their customer.
They need to listen to the vendors too.
That's true. Ooh, that's a good one. Because, okay, so I will say, when I started my business, I came in, didn't know anything. However, I spent a fair share of time doing research. I sat down with people. I talked to them. What do you do? What are the levels of that? Lighting specifically. One of the very first vendors that I had an in-depth conversation with, I went to Blue Steel. I had a conversation with Michelle, love Michelle. But I have a conversation with them. They walked through what they could do, the price points of it, how far I could go. And I started with that education of knowing the limits of what the basic wedding was, but where I could go. Mm-hmm. So when I started, I already knew, like, no, I'm going there. Because I want to make sure that I can introduce that concept to people because they don't know it exists. So that has become something that is really popular at all of our weddings. Like, lighting is a big thing for me.
I've noticed that a lot of your weddings, you make sure lighting is in the room.
It's a big thing for me, yeah.
Is it just Blue Steel you work with?
Absolutely not.
Kristen,
Absolutely not.
Stage right.
Yeah, Stage Right, RVA AV, which is in Richmond. I am an equal opportunity employer. I like to say that.
too.
Is it whoever can?
It's but why I feel like him saying that is just wrong.
Is it whoever?
I call myself that too. I
feel
really
like-
do.
Is it whoever? Because you know them all now, so you know who can accomplish the vision you
Yes.
have.
And it also is specific to the client and their expectations. Some clients is going to be price point. You know, we're trying to make sure we stay in a ballpark, which is going to come down to what you get. Most lighting vendors, the cost is the cost. Other people, it comes down to what they are capable of. Because
She trying not to talk trash about nobody, but we.
no. I love my people. But there's a level of presentation that we have to have in the wedding industry. And I feel like if
Some of y'all out here are bums.
you said that at me. But it's true though. It is true. Marcus, why are you looking at the camera like that? It is true. People are bums. People, you know what? Let's just cut it. People are definitely out here doing
There are
things
levels to this.
they should not be doing. There are levels to it. And great lighting is lighting. However, production lighting is different from the lighting that your DJ brings. It's different from
I'm glad you said that. I really am, because I be getting, sometimes I used to get bamboozled with that. Y'all got uploaded? Yeah, we got uploaded.
Your DJ done brought in these little tiny squares and they done put them around the room.
Them 4 squares.
Yeah, man. Yep.
and just 3 of them on the wall. Not enough.
Yeah, but okay. So misconceptions with design, which I think is probably more into that than it is anything else.
Yeah.
And is it? What, let me ask you this. I'm gonna start with the first one. Is it that basically design means you're gonna do everything? Like you actually gonna be the one loading in, setting up, and all that?
Yeah, that's definitely a misconception. But that's because that's our fault as creatives, as entrepreneurs, as people in this industry. There is no rule book. Anybody can come in. You can do whatever you want. You can call yourself whatever you want. And that is what you are. And so we have,
Get it with that design.
in the wedding design format, we have decorators, designers, event stylists, event decor specialists. Like there's all these names. However, what does that mean?
Yeah. And my question is, how do you find a team to help you do all of those things?
I position myself as more of a general contractor. Like if we're thinking of construction management and like project management.
Because the wedding we done, the wedding, 1 or 2, something like that.
Yeah.
Was he disgruntled at all of them?
Probably.
Scrubs. I actually wasn't at one of them, so
That's right. You weren't.
Yeah,
You weren't. But the one that
He was disgruntled.
we did it,
we were all disgruntled.
We were all disgruntled. I do remember that.
Kidding.
I'm not kidding. So you were planning, but the decor was phenomenal. You didn't do both. So how do you find somebody? Which hat do you decide that you're going to wear for the day, and how do you find a team to pick up the slack on the other end?
It depends on the client. Again, I really lean into my clients because some clients I do coordination and facilitated design, but I always have a team because I literally can't do anything by myself. And I think that comes from that corporate mentality. And like when I started By Love Events, again with my husband, he is a project manager. He works in construction management, so that has always kind of been a part of the stepping stone.
Foundational blueprint, so to speak, from the beginning.
So somewhat, yeah.
Okay.
And I think I've always approached it in a way that wasn't like traditional wedding planning, because again, it's a step-by-step process. And I feel like looking at it from a project management, general contracting perspective, you have to have a team. Like you can't do everything by yourself. Like they have tradesmen, but they also have teams that they hire. So in our perspective, we serve more of the role of the interior designer in the sense of like how people relate to that. Like we are overseeing everything. We're coming up with the concept, developing the vision, and communicating the vision, overseeing its setup, making sure that everything comes the way it's supposed to. But I am not the florist. I am not the lighting company. I am not the person doing drapes. I am not the branding stationer. Like I am not that person. We have abilities and we do tap in sometimes when we have lower budgets, but that is not our primary concern. Not at all.
So is it more of a, just to make sure that design basically being the I guess, the vision of maybe how the day is gonna go, and then you communicate that vision. Like, so is that with the design? Is that how much room is left open for the creatives, like the florists and people like that, to then put their spin on it?
There's a lot of room in our process because I welcome creativity. I feel as though, again, in a creative field, everybody has something that has gotten them to this point. And I feel like when we try and mute that, we are doing a disservice to that person and the fact that you're hiring them. So I really kind of encourage people to be
Being up with
creative.
disgruntled people.
So, can we talk about that?
Can we talk about it?
Disgruntled people?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Like, I would say,
What do you have to say?
wait, hold on. To close that out, I will say that it is never a good idea in my eyes to hire somebody that does everything. That's it. I'll say that.
That was boring. I thought we were really going to get into some action.
No, we can talk about the disgruntled
Okay.
people. We definitely can talk about disgruntled people. Are you talking about disgruntled vendors though, or disgruntled clients?
Ooh, that's a different ball game.
Yeah, because we're talking disgruntled vendors, then we're talking about Will. So
Yes, Will.
is he talking about him?
I mean,
Why does one become disgruntled as a vendor? What leads to
okay, I'll
disgruntled
speak as a
vendors?
photographer.
We're
So,
talking his language now.
chaos. Chaos. And then it ends up falling on my shoulders. And a lot of it starts from large bridal parties, which you have no control over that. You can't control how many people someone decides to put into their bridal party, but at the same time, let's think this through.
Yeah.
You have this vision for yourself, but the more people, it's got to be stressful for you too as well, because
Yeah.
you got to conduct and put together all these people. You got 10, 15 girls in the room, 10, 15 guys who've been drinking the night before in the room, and they got to be there on time. They don't care about the time. Give you an example. About 9 years ago, Marcus and I were photographing a wedding together.
Okay.
Do you not want to be a part of this?
I'm listening. I'm trying to. I'm gonna mute myself so I don't say nobody's name.
About I believe it was 9 years ago, if I'm not mistaken. My math might be off, but we walk in to the venue. I believe we were an hour and a half late already.
Hold on.
Yeah, we were an hour and a half late already.
Y'all were an hour and a half?
What venue were we at?
We were at Chrysler, but they were getting ready at,
Okay.
I'll put it this way,
Okay.
the Main or the Sheraton. Let you choose where you
Okay.
feel this story in.
Okay.
Okay. The timeline was an hour and a half behind. We were on time.
Okay.
We
Understood.
even spent more time photographing and documenting the guys because we called over there and they weren't ready. We get to the hotel, somebody had to come down to the lobby and bring us up to the room.
Okay.
One of the bridesmaids says, we're walking up to the room. We're girls, we're never going to be on time. I was floored. I was done. I was done.
What's going on, everybody? One half of the Hustle and Motivate crew here, Marcus. Thank you so much for watching. Please like, share, subscribe, hit the bell icon, comment. Let us know what you enjoyed about today's episode. Let us know what you didn't enjoy. We look forward to your feedback and seeing you on the next episode of the Hustle and Motivate.
That was the end.
Wait, how does okay, so that led to the path of disgruntledness?
Oh, absolutely. I was happy. I was a happy guy back then, though.
Okay, so was it the disrespect for time?
The disrespect for time.
Okay.
And there was, this is about you. I don't want to make this about me.
Oh, I would say don't make it about
This is about you. I don't want to make it about me. But if we're talking in an aspect of vendors working together and how things don't go over smoothly, I would just say chaos. I don't.
She didn't have a planner though.
No, and they had nothing to do with the planner, right?
Yeah, I was saying.
But that's
I'm saying.
she didn't have a planner. No.
So it was nobody that we could call to say,
Yeah, this is what's going on.
This is what's going on.
Yeah.
So that was a work related hazard to me in the sense of when people don't go through the right channels in the sense of hiring a planner, we get faced with other responsibilities.
And it falls on me.
Yeah, for sure.
he be chilling. Don't nobody say nothing to the videographer.
'Cause he
But
just-
as soon as things go
Yeah.
left and there's no
Yeah.
planner, guess who it goes to?
So it took me a while.
The photographer.
It took me a while
To what?
to acknowledge that that's a plus side of this thing. 'Cause
Yes, it is.
when I came in.
Yeah. He was
I
hot.
don't like the fact that nobody asked me anything.
Nobody
asked me my opinion on something.
No.
Why does he get to decide
Yeah.
what speech? I still have a problem with that. Why does he get to decide what speeches is? Why does he get to decide or she get to decide this and this and this? I had a problem with that. Then one day, a photographer did a wedding. He was there,
Mm-hmm.
and the photographer called me and was like, I had sent the bride the video. She loved it. Oh my God, I love it. Everything's great. Photographer called me. He was like, yeah, man, I just sent them the photos. She's questioning this. I just want to let you know. It might be, giving you a little, maybe give you a little headache.
No, they giving you a headache.
Who was the photographer?
I like that. I like that.
I said, well, hey, they were fine with me. Really? Yeah, I was.
You could just say it off camera.
You could just tell us who.
No, me and this photographer are good people. We work well.
Are they still
I
in
would
business?
never dare commit the sin of revealing who this person is. This person probably didn't remember it. That's another reason why I'm not gonna say it. But I was like,
If I'm not mistaken, that was 11 years ago or something like that.
it was
Let's get specific.
2015, almost 10 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, so I started to notice the disgruntledness, but I feel like it really only occurs when maybe it's not that person to go to that could help provide support.
Yeah.
And I do feel like with photographers, a lot of times with that power that they are given or that responsibility that they're given, if things get off track, they are now seen as the person that people are going to make the decisions of how to get everything back on track. Because it seems like the first thing that venues want to do or the people like that is cut photo time.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it seems like that's when it becomes a problem when somebody says, well, we got to speak, because we just were at a wedding together, and we didn't know the timeline happened. Something was wrong with the timeline, but the first thing the venue coordinator came to me and was like, yeah, we got to you got to have him wrap this up.
I remember
We're
that.
behind. And I'm like, how are we behind? We're behind, but he needs to wrap this up. So you want to sacrifice him, but because I've got food in the back. That's another thing.
Mm-hmm.
When
That's the difference with a venue coordinator, though. Yeah.
Has that, is the venue coordinator and the caterer in charge of catering too, is like everybody's gonna pick but to make sure they're not like, oh, the food's cold.
Yeah.
So it's on me. So y'all not gonna blame me for the food being cold because
Yeah.
I'm behind. But then the first thing you want to do is sacrifice what their jobs are. So.
Yeah.
That's why I got to go. Too many chefs in the kitchen, man. Got to go.
So what are some
Makes
pet peeves? That helps us transition to this. What are some pet peeves you have found in the business that you wish could change?
Accountability. Let's talk about that one. No. But I feel
that would be number one for me.
No, yeah, but I feel like on the parts of the people who are supposed to perform their jobs. So I'm a big person where I feel like if you hire somebody, they need to be self-sufficient. Like, even as a planner, my role is not to teach you how to do your job. It is
Elaborate.
in the sense of I will give you instruction, the vendor. Like, it's not my job to teach the vendor how to do their job.
Which vendor?
Any of them.
Give me an example of a photographer that you've had to coach along.
So here's a funny story. So here's a funny story. I'll tell you a funny story. We're gonna talk about accountability.
Yes.
I got a funny story about Will. Will and me did a wedding. We've done many weddings together. But this particular wedding, Will did everything right. Surprisingly, he did everything right. And somehow, some way, this client just wasn't happy. Will,
Oh God,
told the client, well, you didn't get this and this and this. Will told this lady, you need to take some responsibility for what went on that day.
The client?
Yes.
That's not, but that's for real though.
I told her that. I forgot about that.
That's for real.
This is why you didn't get this.
No, that's for real.
Blah, 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 blah. So
That's
you
for real.
want to blame
about
me?
that.
That's
But
for
this-
real.
You need to take some responsibility about how your wedding went. I said, well,
Come on, Will.
I told her that.
absolutely.
What did they say?
He never heard from me.
I never heard from her.
That makes sense.
Again.
That makes sense. But that's true.
Oh man, I forgot about that.
That's true though, because people, and even as a planner, when people, I haven't had many instances where clients have been unhappy, but I have had some over the years. You're always going to run into that.
For sure.
But it always comes down to what? Like, are we not going to talk about the fact that you said you wanted your cousin to be the DJ?
Thank you.
It's not my fault that he cut out swag surgery
Yes.
before it started. That's a common
That's-
fault.
And I got that.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, before it even drops, like, that's not my fault that
And
he
you
doesn't
end up with a
understand.
3.5-star review.
Or the fact that his DJ mics cut out during the revival.
Ooh, yeah.
Because you
Say
know
nothing
the
about
person you recommend.
Yeah.
Somebody cheaper.
Yep.
Because you really only find out a person's lack of skill, or I feel like why they're cheap when you notice what they bring. For certain things, DJs, photographers, videographers.
I'm not even gonna say it's what they bring. I think it's when you.
It's the equipment. Sometimes you can find
Not just the equipment, but
It's-
when the
it's time
moment comes for you to
Yeah,
start your job,
yeah.
it'll
if it
show.
gets dark
Yeah.
too quick.
Yeah.
And now with the sun wearing over, and now
Yeah.
the lights have gone. It's dark outside.
It's the problems. When the issue comes, how can you pick
How do you handle it?
Like,
Yeah.
it's all about problem solving, because no wedding goes according to plan. And like, I haven't been at one, even as
Do
a
you
planner,
tell clients
goes-
that?
I do. I tell people not to expect perfection, because I feel like as a planner, people always expect like, oh, it's gonna be perfect. Don't do that. Like, that's what I
Why do
always
they
say.
all think
Don't
that?
do that, because perfection is unachievable.
I think
It's not
they think
possible.
they hire these people and who they become, well, some clients who they become besties with, and then those are the first vendors to let you down.
Yeah.
Because you've blurred the line between the client
Professional and
professionalism.
Okay.
Because y'all have cried over the wedding leading up to it, blah, blah, whatever the reason is. I feel like it comes down to who you hire. And if you bringing in you later, or you're bringing in you first, you put together the team you think they should hire, and they say, well, blah, 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 blah. How is that your fault? When they go against certain people, maybe they went against the DJ.
Yeah.
Everybody else, they went
I
against
had a recent situation. Love this bride, love this couple. And they will tell you, like, are you sure? I ask people, are you sure? I'm going to tell you why that's not a good idea. And if you make that decision, you are actively making that decision for yourself. And beautiful wedding, awesome experience. Get back her wedding video. She hates it. But she can't do anything about that, because I told her.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I told you that might not have been a great idea.
Yeah.
However, I also am not like, oh my gosh, I'm never going to see this from a planner perspective. Like, I didn't pay money for that. That's her investment.
Right.
So I have to be okay with that. But accountability for your decisions, but also hiring people that know how to do their job is key. I think that it's more difficult for clients to find people that know how to do their job, though, because there's such a facade in our industry.
Social media, man.
Yeah, it's such a
Them
facade.
Instagram reels and them
Yeah.
carousels will make you believe you got the best in the business.
You're a joke.
And
Have no experience.
I'm sorry, but that's like,
Yeah, people hire you.
That's what came to my mind just now.
so we're gonna keep it
Joke.
moving. So any other pet peeves?
A joke.
I would say, as a planner, pet peeves from clients will be hiring a planner and then not
Letting you plan.
even not letting me plan, not listening. Not listening. I hate when I have brides that don't listen, because most of my brides could plan their weddings. Like, I serve a very mature woman in the sense of they are able to do things. So my clients are not hiring me because they need me to make a spreadsheet. Like, it's like, this is the luxury that I'm hiring you for, and also to heighten that experience. So I have a joy of being able to come into people who are already planning phenomenal experience or wanting phenomenal experience. I'm just adding my touch to that. But I think, Lord, I lost my whole train of thought. Hold on.
That's the first.
What was I talking about? What were we talking about?
We're talking about hiring you and then not letting you.
Yes, sorry. So when it comes to hiring a planner and then not letting the planner do their job, like, you're really doing yourself a disservice. Because if I tell you that your wedding is going to cost X amount of dollars, and you decide, no, I don't think so, I don't believe that, there's no way that that's going to happen, And I'm telling you, for the experience that you want, it's gonna cost X amount of dollars. And you go through that process and you waste 6 months of your planning experience in denial about how much your wedding's gonna cost. That has nothing to do with me because you should have just listened to me. But I tell my clients at the beginning now, like, you have to listen, you have to be willing to accept my advice. You don't have to take all of it. You know, you can do what you want, but ultimately I'm guiding you in the best way that
Listen
I
here,
can.
little Timmy.
Not little Timmy.
Sit down, crisscross applesauce, and do as you're told.
Not little Timmy. I don't like to do like that.
Or
'Cause
a little Tina at this
I feel
point.
like I'm a passive planner in the sense of I really allow my client. Why are you shaking your head like that?
Because it sounds like that's what he heard a lot growing up.
In kindergarten,
Crisscross applesauce.
crisscross applesauce. You need to sit over there and be quiet. That's what I did that a lot in kindergarten. I did.
I really try and let my clients be themselves because I feel like it gets us closer to where we're supposed to be faster. So like you said, your wife went through that process, but she didn't know what she wanted, and then once she figured it out, she was like, "Let's go." Like that's how it goes. Like you spend so much time trying to figure it out, and then once you're ready for that vision, you gotta go.
Yeah.
So I really want people to lean into that. I want them to be able to get what they want, even if that means we might change the vision a little bit down the line, which a lot of people are not okay with that. But I'm okay with that process. Like the creative process is something that I enjoy. That's how we get to where we've got. None of my weddings started out the way that they ended at all.
I have a statistics question.
Okay.
You okay with that?
Be afraid.
It's not being afraid. Why you gotta be afraid?
Right.
Okay. Do you find that the number of weddings are going down or going up? As a planner, because Marcus is going down a different like
I would say going down.
they're going down.
I think so, yeah.
Is it
Well,
the number of inquiries or the less number of calendar events that you have solidly booked?
I would say calendar events.
Okay.
Definitely not like the inquiries come in. However, there's just a lot of factors in society in general that I feel like, that leads to that. Especially coming off the pandemic is one thing.
What's two?
Inflation.
Yeah.
Okay.
Economy is the biggest one.
Okay.
And then also TikTok.
Hmm?
Like I feel like TikTok. I feel like TikTok. I love TikTok for what it is. However, I feel like it's smoke and mirrors. Like there's levels to it, and I feel like we get that insight, and people watch YouTube videos. You know, like we do the DIY, we get all of that, but you're not really getting it at the same time.
So you mean it's going? You mean the quality or the number of people getting married are going down?
Both.
Okay.
Both.
So the quality of the events are going down.
In some ways, yeah.
And the number of people that are getting married is going down.
Yes, and I think that's related to just the pandemic, honestly. I feel like people were not sick and shut in, but they weren't socializing for a period of time. And so that it does affect in the long term. Like there's a small trickle.
Okay.
That's where I justify that. Now, the leaders say that there's going to be a boom.
That's wrong.
That's what the leaders are saying.
I am the leader.
The leaders are saying that there is a wedding boom of
who said what?
And there are more weddings than there have ever been.
Who's the leader?
Oh, they're saying
the leaders.
They're saying it's a boom now.
Yeah, like in general.
It's wrong.
There's a boom.
Don't depend on that.
So what is the wrap this up? What is the 5-year plan for the By Love brand?
By Love. Well,
the BLE.
So when I started By Love Events, I always wanted BLE to become a firm. And by that, I mean it's greater than me. It's bigger than me. I am a vessel for this brand to pass through. But also, I want to make sure that people who want to enter into this industry, especially as planners, have a way to do so without the difficulties of entrepreneurship, learning how to run a business, and not being able to just do the work.
You want them to avoid it?
I don't want them to avoid it. I just want to be a part of the change for it, in the sense of I feel like our industry could do more with more firm and corporate branded, corporate mentality businesses. There's a lot of, again, moms, I'm a mom. But when I say that, I mean like people are just not really focused on where the business could go. They're more so focused on the hobby and the joy that they get from it versus turning it into
Gotcha.
an actual foundation.
I agree.
Making sure you guys are in every, because I used to say that it was either if I was there, the videographer was there, planner wasn't there. The planner was there, there's no videographer. It was like when it came down to it, there was a choice
between the two.
It always came down to which one of us was not going to be there. And it seems like, in my opinion, we both should be up there just as much as the
Absolutely.
And I agree with you. It seems like that needs to be a shift in the business. Video is finally becoming like a staple. I feel like people are really trying their hardest to make sure they have it. You still got,
I feel like social media helps with that though.
It does, because everybody wants their reels or whatever. But I feel like it's still a luxury to have, a planner there, which that's how you wind up with white linen on the table.
We're back at white linen.
Some planners still go to white linen though. Like that's
I don't have a problem with white linen. Is when you got white tablecloths with it. I mean, white napkins with it. And y'all just took whatever was the
bland. It's the bland corporate vibe.
At least just put on her cape somewhere.
Where is Elise? Y'all didn't want to hire.
Shout out to Waterford, okay? Shout out to Waterford.
Hire Elise and them. You didn't want to hire Kayla. You didn't call Kayla at all. Like,
what's going on?
So 5 years is that you want to basically make this like a household you have to have.
Absolutely. Like I want planning in general needs to change, but also just in the sense of having a business that is able to fund in the sense of not literally, but also literally the careers of other people who want to get into this industry as planners and designers.
Training.
Specifically. Yes. So for example, I have 2 girls with me now, one that is interning and another one that's working as my associate designer. They are great, but I know that like if they had to deal with the business side of it, there's no
cut out for it.
No.
Yeah.
And I don't even know if I'm cut out for it. I feel like I'm in it and I'm here. Right? Because I made that decision and I said, all right, so we're going with the highs and the lows, good and the bad, the ghetto and the non-ghetto. Like we're just doing what we have to do. But I also think like it has to have more of a solid position for people to understand that planning it should not be an option. It really should be something that people do first. Because if you did it first, it will greatly heighten your experience. I can tell you now, anybody that's ever paid me money, and I'm saying this on camera, anybody that's ever paid By Love Events something has also saved what they've paid By Love Events. Okay. So when you make that decision, when you're establishing your budget and you say, I can't fit this planner in, it's really because you should have hired them first. And I, as a planner, can have a client contract me, and we also can save $5,000 off the cost of their venue.
$5,000.
$5,000. If you don't know how, you just gotta hire By Love Events.
Wow, DM her. Where can they reach you?
I want to DM you.
Okay, do it.
Playing something.
So you can reach us at By Love Events on Instagram.
I don't sign paperwork.
TikTok is BLE Yolanda.Smith and ByLoveEvents.com. That's where the people can find me.
Oh man, I love it. That was a good time. But he always leaves frustrated. I just don't understand.
I don't understand.
I don't get it. I just said I wanted to plan an event. You said you could save me $5,000.
I could. I really could.
Wrap the damn podcast over.
Yo.
I could. Overall, like collectively in general, absolutely. Yes. It's not going to be the same for every client, but we can definitely save. There's a lot of ways to save money. And that's really just by you being realistic and not wasting money. I also would like to say, because this is a thing too, as planners, they have to stop trying to over negotiate with vendors.
Y'all heard that. That's right. As well as planners, just tell people the budget. Don't hide it. Tell us the budget and let us figure it out. Planners be trying to get you up and down the wall. Like, what can you?
That's because they don't know the budget.
Okay. See, be upfront with the budget, man.
See you.
Be upfront with the budget, and but they be trying to backdoor it, thinking that, oh well, I was able to get you this. No, you weren't. 'Cause
Establish the
you
budget.
could have got more had you don't if you been what the budget is, but
Establish the budget, guys.
establish the budget.
That's the first thing.
Will, Yolanda, thank you for being in here. You talked way more,
Yeah,
but
this
you
is
act
great.
like you weren't.
This was great.
See, that's what I told you to be
We should
chill.
do this again. We should keep going. I feel like we didn't get enough, like, you know.
Oh, I had a lot of other questions, but I'll leave them. I gotta light this whole room on fire.
Closed.
It ain't too late. It ain't closed yet. Look.
Anyway. Yolanda, thank you for joining us, man. This was a great way to start off the next season, and again, I appreciate your insight on everything. That was I think people will get a lot from that. But y'all, thank y'all for checking out the Hustle and Motivate podcast. Y'all always remember, respect the hustle if you earn from it and motivate others in the process. We will see y'all on the next one. Thank you. What's going on, world? One half of the Hustle and Motivate podcast here is Will Hawkins. So we appreciate y'all checking out today's episode. If you have anything you'd like to say, hate, love, don't care, leave it in the comment box below. Like and subscribe. Either way, we gonna win. See y'all on the next episode.